Good day, kings and queens. My name is Erica and this channel is called Love is the Main Key. The title of this video is Cook With Me, Veggie Style Caribbean Gumbo. Okay, so Mardi Gras just passed and I wasn't able to be down there to enjoy the festivities, but I still had that taste and I want to bring the festivities to me. Yes, I do. So we're going to make it today. I made this one other time. It tastes delicious. Only thing different, instead of okra, I'm doing a Brussels sprout version. I want to try that out. So for this particular dish, you're going to need a crock pot. Yes, we're going to do some slow simmering cooking, you all. You're going to need some potatoes. Now, I have a medley of potatoes. These are so good. The petite medley gourmet potatoes. You have the gold, red, and purple. Now, kings and queens, if you cannot find this particular kind, you can use just the regular potatoes. But let me tell you, these are good. We're going to do it in a crock pot so you don't have to peel it or anything. They are such good potatoes. So if you can find them, use these, or, you know, just get your regular potatoes. Okay, we're going to have some yellow and red bell peppers. I advise you just go on and cut them up ahead of time like I did here, because this dish is going to take a while and it's a lot of prep. So just go on and cut it up ahead of time. You're going to need some corn, either in a bag or shuck it from the cob. Don't use the can with this because the water and preservatives in there will change the flavor. So bag or off the cob. You're going to use some carrots, not off the can. Make sure they're fresh or in the bag. Some jalapeno peppers. Now we're going to deseed these because these are very spicy. Some fresh or in the bag Brussels sprouts. You're going to need an onion pack. This is the best one I've tried, is the Lipton soup. I prefer to have a whole one of these. They come 2 in a pack, but I only have a half of one, so we're going to make it work. All right, you're going to need that. You're going to need some hot sriracha sauce, some chicken broth. Trust me, chicken broth instead of water will give it more flavor. You're going to need a whole onion. You're going to need the Old Bay seasoning. That is a must. Now, if you don't want to pay the money for the Old Bay, get you some Jamaican jerk seasoning or a medley of some sort of Caribbean seasoning. You can find that at your local markets if you don't want to pay for the Old Bay. You need some parsley flakes. You're going to need some curry powder and some type of chicken bouillon cubes or beef bouillon cubes. Now, if you're doing this with all the meats, you don't need those bouillon cubes, but if you're going to do a vegan or vegetarian, this is what you need. Okay, kings and queens, let's jump right into it. Okay, kings and queens, so we have all of the vegetables rinsed and washed very good. And the crock pot has been getting hot for about 10 minutes. So we're going to move on to our next step. Okay, so the crock pot is nice and hot. Just put you a little bit of water in there. And when you see the water disappear, you'll know it's nice and hot. You want to put this ghee in there. This is ghee made with pink Himalayan sea salt, like a natural form of butter. So you want to put a nice amount in there because we're going to caramelize the onions. So we're just going to scoop it in there. And you're going to let that melt down. It is a crock pot, so it takes a little longer. So when you see it melt down, you're fine. I'm putting in about 5 to 6 teaspoons, just enough to coat the bottom so the onions can caramelize. And to kind of help it speed up a little bit, we're just going to put our top on and wait a second. Okay, kings and queens, while that's still getting hot, we're going to utilize our time and we're going to cut up our potatoes. If they're small, we're just going to cut them in half. Make sure you leave the skin on, because these are nice gourmet potatoes and you get a lot of the nutrients in it and they taste so great. You want to leave that skin on. That's why we're cooking it in a crock pot, to kind of let the skin melt right off into the dish. Now for this one, it's pretty big, so I'm going to cut this one twice. Okay, just like so. Same as this one, just do this one in 4s. Now the rest are going to be in half. Look at that beautiful vibrant color. Beautiful. Next, we're going to prepare our Brussels sprouts. A lot of people tell me they never had Brussels sprouts. It just tastes like baby cabbage. So basically all you're doing, you see that little top there? That's the part that makes it taste coarse, where kids say, I don't want that. Ugh. You're going to pop that off. That way you have that sweet taste to that Brussels sprout. So a little extra time make the food taste better. Just take your time and take the little heads off. And then the method we're going to do for these, we're going to peel them so they could cook down and have that good sweet taste. So all you're going to do is just start breaking it apart. So that's why I said this dish takes a little time. But hey, Mardi Gras doesn't come often. It's well worth it. And this is how it looked when you broke down all of the Brussels sprouts and separated them all into little pieces. Okay, kings and queens, as you can see, all of that ghee has melted. So we're just adding in our onion. And make sure you chop it up nice and fine, because you want this to cook down very, very good until it's transparent. Basically until the onions are caramelized. Just give it a quick little stir inside of all of that ghee. Let it sit there for about 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to put the top on just to speed up the process a little bit and prepare the rest of our vegetables. Next up, kings and queens, we're going to cut the carrots in half. We just want them in half because this is supposed to be a nice and hearty dish. So you're just going to take time and cut them all into halves. Okay, we have all the carrots cut into half. Next, we're going to prepare this jalapeno pepper. And this is very important how we prepare this, because you don't want the dish to be too over spicy. Some people don't like spicy. You could take a paring knife or any kind of thin knife that you have to cut down the center of your jalapeno pepper. And what I'm going to do is pop out the seeds. I'm going to leave a few seeds in because this is supposed to be a spicy dish and I like spicy. But I'm not going to leave all the seeds in, because if I left all the seeds in, that's where the heat comes. It would just be too spicy. Okay. Same thing with this. I'm going to pop the seeds out of there. So as you can see, I popped out some of the seeds. I left some seeds in. So basically after that, just gonna flip them over and cut them up. With this, you can cut it as fine or as chunky as you like. It all depends on how hot you like yours. I'm just cutting them up medium, not too fine, not too chunky. Okay. Just gonna go down the center. Chop them up so we can put a little bit of that Louisiana heat in there. Caribbean style. Okay, so the onions have cooked down a lot. Now we're gonna just add that jalapeno pepper in there. Make sure I get all the seeds in there. I'm gonna let that cook down a little bit. We're gonna add some of our yellow bell peppers that we already had prepped. They were frozen, so what I'm doing is just squeezing off some of the excess water. And I'm putting about half of that baggie of the yellow ones in there, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the red. Half a bag of the red as well. Quick little stir. Let's put the top on and let those cook down as well. Okay, so those we don't have to let sit that long because this is all in one pot. And a crock pot takes long anyway, so I did that for about 2 more minutes. Now all of those prepared vegetables, the carrots and potatoes, I'm adding to the crock pot. I will also add in the Brussels sprouts at this point. Get it all in there. Oh wow, it was just enough to fill it up. Okay. That worked out pretty well. As you know, sometimes it be too much, not enough. This time it was just right, okay? Now that half a bag of corn, I'm also going to put them in there right on top of it. We're going to add in our chicken broth. We're going to fill this all the way until there's no more, until we see that line for the corn. Yeah, I ran out of chicken broth, so I might have to add water, but we'll see in a second before we put our seasonings. So before I added water, I just wanted to see where my broth level is, because these Brussels sprouts will cook down. So I'm going to add the seasonings before I add more water, because I really don't want to add a lot of water to it. If I have to, I will. But once this cooked down some, then I don't know if I have to. But for the meantime, see, it's already starting to cook down. For the meantime, I'm going to add in that Lipton. Half a pack of Lipton. We have. I'm going to add some more spice, which is that Old Bay. We're going to taste as we go as well. Now, somebody might say, how much of the seasoning do you add? You're going to season this to taste. I'm just going to sprinkle the curry powder over it. We'll know more once it starts cooking down. Sprinkle some of that parsley. And you're going to add 3 of these bouillon cubes. This is how the bouillon cubes look. Just open them up. Add them in there. Okay. Yeah, I might have to add a little more liquid, but like I said, we'll see in a moment. Stir it all up in there good. Yeah, we're gonna have to add a little more water. Put our top on and we'll come back. Smelling good already. Okay, so it's been cooking a few more minutes. It still has a nice long way to go. But as you can see, we need more liquid. So this is the time we're gonna add about a tablespoon more of our ghee in there. And just taking the water and I'm going to fill it up until it covers the top of the vegetables. So when you do run out of broth, you know you're just going to have to add more seasoning. No big deal. But I didn't want to run out, but since I did, we're going to add more seasoning. That's why you season to taste. It's too early for me to even taste this right now. So, I mean, I could, but really not going to make a difference. When it starts cooking down, I'm going to let this cook down for about an hour. And then I'm going to come and taste it again. Then I'll come and taste it and add more seasoning. And then let it continue to cook. So, I'll see you all in about an hour. An hour for me, a couple minutes, seconds for you all. Okay, so it's been an hour. Actually, it's been an hour and a half. After an hour, I just turned it down on low. So I made some cornbread with it. Cornbread goes great with this. So now is the time when I'm going to taste it to see how much more seasoning we need, if any. Okay. Let's see here. Almost just right, but now we're going to add in the rest of our seasoning. So add back in everything. Okay. Mix that up really good. Still has a little bit longer to cook because we want those potatoes nice and tender. Now is the time where we're going to make it a little spicy and add that sriracha. Now you want to do this to taste. So what I do, I just go around the circumference to the middle. Mix it up in there. When it get completely done, I'll taste it to see if I want to add any more sriracha in there or if I'm going to just leave it just like that. So the way the potatoes are looking, we're going to let it cook for about another 45 minutes. Okay, so while that's finishing cooking, I turned it back up on high. Got that good old cast iron skillet. Just made some cornbread. Just made a little bit. So it get that nice crispiness. I like that crispy edge. Just gonna cut it up. Get it nice and ready. Put the foil back on it. And so our good old dish, New Orleans Caribbean dish is ready. All right. When you get to about the last 30 minutes, you'll notice how the potatoes are starting to get real tender. You're going to make just a light thickening because we do have cornbread. Just use some Argo cornstarch. And depending on how much you have, you're going to add in, I'm going to add in about 3 teaspoons. That's about it. Because I don't want it too thick, but I just want it just a little, just have a little thickness going on. Just stir that in there. Put your top back on and let it finish cooking. Kings and queens, it is finally done. I already been eating some of it. It is so good. I could taste the curry in there. Nice and spicy. Potatoes are nice and tender. Got the edges of the cornbread how I like it. Nice and crispy. And I just had some orange Kool-Aid on the side, you all. I was in the Bahamas last year. Taste this good old punch. It tastes like Kool-Aid. So I said, let's go with the theme and do some orange Kool-Aid. Thank you for watching Kings and Queens. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you become blessed. Bless somebody else. Love is the main key. Enjoy this beautiful life we are given. And I will see you in the next video. Subscribe.